I'm ready. Everybody ready?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here today. Earlier today, my office was notified by the Department of Public Safety that the FBI had intercepted a suspicious envelope. It did not get mailed here to the Capitol. It was intercepted in Reno. I want to give a shout out to the postal inspectors there who did a really great job identifying this and making sure that it didn't come our way. So the FBI is looking into this suspicious package. There was white powdery substance in there. That is being tested. We don't know what that was, what that substance is. But it is very similar to the packages and envelopes that have been mailed to many other states. I would say probably almost half or more of the states at this point now have been mailed this sort of package, this sort of envelope. And these are mailed to election offices from the United States Traitor Elimination Army, I guess, is what it was signed from. Thankfully, we're all safe. We're grateful for the postal inspectors. We're grateful for law enforcement. We're grateful for all of the election workers who are just keeping their heads down and doing their jobs and making sure our democracy works.
Obviously, you're not the only intended target, if you will, of this. Does that make it a little bit different for you, given if this was an isolated sort of situation for your office?
Yeah, you know, I would say we're not terribly surprised about the fact that Utah was targeted because so many other states were. We were, after that became known earlier this week, we were anticipating, you know, the potential delivery of a package like that. So we were watching for it. The Postal Service was watching for it. Law enforcement was watching for it.
Has your office ever been a target of something like this previously?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't believe that we've ever received a suspicious package like this in the past. There was another incident last year during the election last November where some states were targeted. Utah was not one of them at that time.
Just your thought that somebody's out here doing this.
Well, it's not an easy thing to process. This is a vital, foundational, fundamental part of our free society is elections. And to see elections and election workers, election officials become the target of harassment and intimidation and threats is incredibly disturbing. And I think everybody should care about this. Everybody should be disturbed, even if it didn't happen in our state. Everybody should care about threats to our democratic institutions. We have to have order. We have to have process. We have to have rule of law in order to protect our freedom. And I hope that the citizens of Utah and the citizens of the United States will call on their better angels to tone down the rhetoric and to pay attention to whether or not they're helping to feed in to that chaos and that threatening rhetoric.
Does that really speak to the climate right now when you're talking about the rhetoric and everything, like with something like this happening and just how heated things are heading into November?
Unfortunately, right now we are seeing a lot of heated rhetoric. And you know what? We live in a nation that values free speech. And we love free speech, even if we don't like the free speech, right? We love free speech. And that will never change. That can't change. But there's a difference between expressing frustration or support or opposition to political candidates and trying to undermine democracy, trying to undermine government, trying to undermine other people's faith in our system of government, and honestly trying to sow chaos and trying to harm and intimidate people into doing what you want them to do. That's not how we should be doing things in the United States of America.
You have a lot of other folks from different countries in the room today. Has this been a topic of conversation, and what have you talked about?
Well, I haven't talked to any of the folks from other countries today. I've been doing judicial nominee interviews all day, so welcome. I'm sorry that you've had to see this. This is not the best of America that we would want to show people from other countries, unfortunately. But the good news is that the vast majority of Americans don't put up with this bullcrap. They don't buy it, they don't buy into it, they don't like it, and they don't support it. And everybody needs to remember that if you're silent and you don't call this stuff out, it's not as bad as doing it, but it's coming close.
Any other questions?
So again, yeah, they don't have any idea what the substance is at this moment.
They're testing the substance, and I don't have an update on what that substance is. I will say in other states, I think for the most part, the substance that was tested was not harmful.
When were you notified?
When was I notified of this? It was around midday.
Okay.
Midday today, yes.
Any precautions being taken now that obviously you were, an intended target of this, as many other states have been?
Well, when a similar incident happened a year ago, even though Utah wasn't a target, we did put in place in our county clerk's offices around the state. We wanted to make sure our county clerks were safe, our election workers were safe, so we put safety procedures and processes and even supplies in place around the state to make sure that people are trained and that they're well equipped if something like this were to happen.
Is this something that will carry into November with the election?
Yes, absolutely. We will continue to make sure that our election workers are safe and that our processes are conducted in an orderly manner. Okay, thanks you guys. Appreciate it. Bingo, I guess.
So these are friends, Argentina. Got a lot of Argentina.